Gaga's fresh, provocative, and unique brand of music has taken the world by storm in a very short time. Her ferocious aggression and ambition, combined with a first-class creative team around her, makes it improbable that Gaga will disappear anytime soon. She certainly won't have the distinction of being regarded as a one-hit wonder, as she constantly surprises the world and overturns all odds.
She is a phenomenon, but we've seen it before with Madonna, where there was one performance on the Video Awards or something, and then they were on the scene. Lady Gaga's kind of the same thing. You know, bang, she's here.
She told me, I'm going to just debut one day. I'm going to be in an awards show. I am going to come out on stage in my underwear because I want everyone to know that I don't give a f what they think about me.
Lady Gaga started to rack up awards, including several wins at the 2010 VMAs. The highlight was icon Cher presenting her the honor of Video of the Year.
And the VMA for Video of the Year goes to Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Beside the VMAs, she also won multiple Grammys, Fashion Awards, Brit Awards, EMAs, and the list goes on and on. Along with her rising fame and success, Lady Gaga started reaping the benefits with growing record sales and profits. But unlike many stars who squander it and go bankrupt, Gaga is betting on herself, putting her money back into her brand.
Lady Gaga is very business savvy. I think that she's surrounded herself with people that are watching her money because she is spending. I mean, everything, all of her tours, all of her costumes, all of her backup dancers, she is paying for all of that. But I don't think that Lady Gaga in the next 10 years is going to pull an MC Hammer and be completely broke.
In terms of Lady Gaga spending so much money on her shows and really not spending that much money on advertising and marketing and things of that nature, I think that goes to show how much she's out there caring about her fans.
I don't care about money. I'm not a whole person without my work, and it's all I've got.
Cher is beyond amazing. Streisand, beyond amazing. Liza Minnelli, Judy Garland, all of these performers, beyond amazing. They all had their looks. She's in that category. She is just one of those people that makes you feel something, whether it's good or bad.
I didn't think when she said she wanted to be a singer and a songwriter that might be possible. But when she acted like an animal, you know, I just went, she's a monster. But it's good to be a monster if you want to be a superstar.
I'm just very passionate about music and what I do. It didn't matter when anybody told me no.
Lady Gaga's music is deeply associated with her childhood. Born Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germanotta in March 1986, Gaga started playing piano at age 4. Raised as a Roman Catholic in a humble middle-class environment in New York City, young Stephanie showed signs of being a child prodigy. But she was somewhat of an outcast to her classmates. As a result, she lobbies hard today against bullying.
I got really bullied. Getting picked on in school, it sticks with you for life.
Gaga's foundation now gives a voice to bullied kids.
It's an organization centered around anti-bullying. I am going to be working as hard as I can to make bullying a hate crime.
Gaga even visited the White House to discuss bullying prevention, a topic close to her and her family.
Her parents are Italian, her mother Cynthia and Joe, and they're a very tight family. They're hardworking people. They put their daughters into private school, you know, just average people.
And everyone at Sacred Heart knew that she was talented. She was always gifted musically. Even at a younger age, had a vision for her future. She really wanted to be famous.
Stephanie was really nice. She was so sharp with her being able to just get in a studio and just produce. She can just a cappella or do whatever.
She's a classically trained pianist, and obviously to do what she does took a lot of practice.
All good music can be played at a piano and still sound like a hit.
When I first met Lady Gaga, I had no idea that she would soon take over the entire world. None. I thought she was great. I thought she was a great performer. I did not know that she would be the biggest thing.
She had long, dark hair, and she was a very attractive Italian girl. And she lived in a little studio on Stanton Street. It's a cute little studio, and she loves the Lower East Side, always has. And then I hadn't seen her in a while, and she totally went blonde, and I barely could recognize her.
Young Stephanie emerged from her outcast, ugly duckling childhood, attending NYU. The immensely talented Stephanie devoured everything the New York underground music scene had to offer, especially drugs like cocaine. Today, Gaga admits those days as a struggling musician in New York were by far her darkest.
It's really fast-paced. You know, everybody's rushing around, and there's 8 people in this tiny little dressing room, and it can be really crazy. And then everybody's partying and drinking and doing whatever drugs they're doing.
Lady Gaga in the past has admitted her drug use.
She'd party. I didn't think that she would open up a box so she had something stashed away on her.
She was doing a little bit of drugs, but I think it was a little bit later that, she got more into it.
And I was like, so now you're a superstar, what's it like, She goes, I feel the same, just people around me have changed. We went out and got very drunk and partied, and it was great.
She had her moments where she would party.
Everybody knows they're doing drugs. Lady Gaga actually said, I had a period of my life where I was using drugs.
She was a party girl, so, I mean, you couldn't shock her.
Drugs can be a wonderful mind-expanding experience, but they can also ruin your life. And that might just be a credibility thing for her. I never got the sense that she was a mess.
Coming up, Gaga working as a go-go dancer to pay her rent, meeting Akon, and getting her first record deal, and her close relationship with New York's underground DJ, Lady Starlight, when Chasing Gaga continues. You're watching Chasing Gaga. As Gaga made no secret her ambition to conquer the music world and to become a huge star, Gaga garnered the support of everyone around her, especially her parents and younger sister, who always stood by her through thick and thin.
I said, Daddy, I want to be a rock star. He said, go be a rock star, Music was a big part of my family.
Very early on, her family was very supportive. They were always at the gigs. She would talk about them at length. She was very proud of her family and where she came from. And I still think that's what really roots her. Her friends are the people that have always been there for her, and her family. I mean, her family is always with her. They're a huge part of her life.
She wants to do the work. It's not just being famous and making money. It's how you get there. She wanted.
I've worked really hard, and I've been hustling in New York since I was 15. I'm really focused, and I just want to do a good job.
There's no one way how to do it, how to become successful, and also you have to define what success you're talking about.
She also was always checking the bigger acts to see what they were doing and seeing what she could do to reach that hugeness, which I guess she figured it out.
At NYU, Gaga formed a band with a couple of fellow students. Gaga would spend hours each day composing music on her keyboard. Meanwhile, she found work as a go-go dancer to help pay her rent, working with her close friend, DJ Lady Starlight, at New York's famous club, the Slipper Room.
Lady Starlight is a very personable individual and a real networker and a real sweetheart. Gaga was her friend. Lady Starlight would be doing most of the talking. And so she kind of was making things happen at that point.
Well, she was go-go dancing initially, and then she started this act with Lady Starlight. And her look at the time was kind of stripperish. Black hair, tight clothes, spandex, scantily clad, all that stuff. Very LA, Sunset Strip, late 80s.
She was really young and maybe slightly naive, like just in from the suburbs and finding her way, whereas Lady Starlight, was already comfortably ensconced in the scene and knew what she wanted and how to get it.
How do you come to playing with Stephanie? Can you recall?
I remember my buddy came to me and was like, I have this girl in this class that I'm taking it, and she is an incredible singer-songwriter. So I mentioned you as a guitar player. And I was like, okay, cool. I listened to it. I was like, it's pretty poppy, not something I would immediately be attracted to.
I remember her getting really upset that she wasn't signed, and us and our friends, we were all musicians and sort of happy to be just playing it, period. But she was, why am I not signed yet?
When she had her band, She had an opportunity to meet record producers, and these people took her seriously.
Gaga's band quickly got a following, performing at several of New York's East Village most underground clubs, including the Bitter End and the Knitting Factory. Gaga's incredible voice combined with her solid keyboard playing left people in awe.
She could definitely wail. She could nail a big rock song. Like we would cover a Zeppelin tune and she'd kill it. A few times went to a jazz club with her and she could sit down and play a ballad too, so she had kind of a diverse range to her voice.
She was very confident throughout. That was one of the things that I think captivated me. I could tell that she was driven and motivated to become something very big.
I stopped booking her as a music act earlier than I stopped booking her as a burlesque act because I didn't really think that the music was appropriate for our audience. It was a little bit too mainstream for the Slipper Room.
Pop music on the Lower East Side was considered to be very strange, so I wanted to do something that was completely against what everybody else was doing.
We would gig at the Bitter End. We played maybe about half the shows that we had played as a band together at the Bitter End. She had set these shows up to be more of a showcase, trying to get her name out there to the right people to get signed. That seemed to be kind of the motivating factor.
We're Stephanie Germani, the band.
When I first heard her, it definitely had that pop vibe to it, but I think it was very unique. It had its own thing going on. It didn't sound like imitating everything else.
Gaga was only 20 years old. She had dropped out of NYU and moved out of her parents' Upper West Side apartment, which is and that was probably the biggest thing that ever happened to her at the time.
Usually, New York artists get eaten up and spit out on a daily basis. Gaga definitely stood out. The eclectic and charismatic performance